They need to have, for someone to have a diagnosis of depression, they need to have at least 5 of these criteria, okay? 5 criteria, there's 9 of them. They have to have 5 out of the 9 for at least 2 weeks. Okay, so let's just run down. Depressed mood, that can either be the person themselves feels depressed, or they see, or that you see that they look depressed, or that they're tearful. A change in sleep. They can have something called, they can have either insomnia, which is an inability to sleep. They can have something called early morning awakening, where they get up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, can't fall back asleep again. Or they have the fact that they just can't fall asleep at all. Could be the other way. They can have something called hypersomnia. Hyper, anything is too much of something. Someone with depression, with a major depressive episode, might have hypersomnia. So they're sleeping all the time. Now, part of that might be because they just want to escape the world and how they're feeling, but biochemically, it can cause hypersomnia. And appetite works the same way, by the way. When we get to the bottom where it says appetite disturbance or weight loss, it would be 5% of the person's weight, but appetite disturbance can be either eating everything in sight, binging on carbs, or no appetite whatsoever. So that's another criteria, either too much or too little. Someone might not be very interested in things that used to bring them pleasure. And that the technical name for that, the official name for that is anhedonia. So we say that the person is anhedonic. And you know this person. They used to love to go to the movies, and you try to get them to go to the movies and say, come on, let's go have dinner and go see a movie. No, I don't feel like it. No, oh, I don't want to. No, you go without me. If they're consistent decreased interest in usual activities, then we say the person is anhedonic. They may feel guilty or worthless. I'm no good. The world would be better off without me. Everything is my fault. Very poor self-esteem. Decreased energy or fatigue. Trouble concentrating. They can't sit and watch television for a long period of time. They'll say to you maybe, I used to love to read, now I can't even read. I'm not into reading. I used to do crossword puzzles, I can't do them anymore. We'd say that those are some things involved with concentration difficulties. Psychomotor retardation or agitation. Psychomotor, if you break that word down, it means it's the body. It's not that the person is developmentally delayed or anything. It just means that they move like they're in slow motion. Psychomotorly walking, they're very slow, they might shuffle their feet, they may not feel like getting out of bed. Everything is an effort. It takes them 15 minutes to brush their teeth. That's what we would call psychomotor retardation. Or it can be the other way around. They're very agitated. They're wringing their hands. They can't sit still. They're up and down. They're in and out of different rooms. And then finally, suicidal thoughts, which I will talk about later. So those are again, we need to see 5 out of the 9, and people can do a bit of self-screening to say, hey, this is what I have, this, and this. And if there are 5 things and they've been going on for more than 2 weeks, then perhaps it's time to go get checked out, because the earlier depression is, the earlier there's intervention, the earlier the person gets better. If you can nip a depression in the bud, it's so much the better. And I also want to mention about the agitation. A lot of people, when they're anxious, get agitated. They can't sit still. They wring their hands. They're very nervous. They jump easily. There's something to remember that depression and anxiety usually occur together 75% of the time. So that being said, a lot of times someone who is depressed becomes anxious. I'd say that they're like kissing cousins. They're depressed, they become anxious. And the more anxious they get, the more depressed they get. And the more depressed they get, the more anxious they get. And it's a bit of a vicious cycle. So also keep in mind, when you do see agitation and depression, there may be a fair amount of anxiety as well, because they do go together.